there's fast and then there is... Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're gonna be going over a modified Acura NSX. I'm super excited to finally be able to film this review. But first and foremost, a huge shout out and thank you to my friend Kyle for giving me some time with his NSX. Go follow his Instagram in the description below. Obviously, he has this crazy 700 horsepower NSX, but he also just bought a brand new T-Rex launch edition. So yeah, just go follow him on Instagram, but let's get into the video. Now, since I've already reviewed the NSX, I'm just going to kind of go over the key points or the things that I like, and then also the modifications in today's video. So first off, I've always loved the look of the venting here on the hood with the NSX. Just makes it look so much more aggressive. And then also the carbon fiber badges you can get with it. I think that's another nice little touch. And then coming to the lights, this is another point that I love on the car. I love the full LED lights. I love the accent light that comes around, and just how they designed the headlights and how they made it kind of like sleek and thin. I think it looks really good. And then all the rest of the venting here in the front, absolutely love. And if you guys are wondering, this car's originally black, but as you can see, you kind of have like a satin finish on it. This is from the Expel Stealth series, so it's a paint protection film that not only kind of changes the finish on the car, but then it adds another layer of protection. Especially a car like this, you're going to want protection on it. But yeah, this car in the Expel Stealth looks fantastic. The NSX does have a staggered setup, so you've got 19-inch wheels on the front with 245mm tires wrapped around them, and then in the rear it's 305mm for the tire width, but then it's 20-inch wheels, so fully staggered setup. And yes, this is on winter tires because Kyle has been daily driving this, which I think is awesome. And other than that, the design on these wheels I think matches perfectly with the rest of the theme on this particular car. Love the red brake calipers as well. Like, everything's just kind of like blacked out. This is the ultimate Batmobile spec. And other than that, here's the full side view, which again, this is another thing that I love about the car, because you can see like the sleek design and then the venting here on the side, like all of it just looks really cool. And you probably noticed the door handle popped up. Yes, when you walk up to the car, the door handle pops up, which is another nice little feature here on the NSX. Normally the NSX is twin turbo 3.5 liter V6 that's paired with the hybrid system, puts out 573 horsepower and then 476 pound-feet of torque. However, this one is tuned, and so it puts out about 700 horsepower on 98 octane, which is just insanity because this car's already crazy fast. I love all the carbon fiber in the engine bay, and then the fact that they also give you the production number. And then Kyle's also added the red charge pipes, which I think is another really neat little thing. But yeah, overall this engine bay just looks fantastic. Let's finish things up in the rear of the NSX. So first off, you've got this really neat carbon fiber spoiler that goes along the back end. And then I love the rear glass. You can see into that beautiful engine bay. And yes, it flexes the production number to everyone. So like, they see the engine, then they see the production number, and then they know everything's legit. And then coming down below, you've got the full LED lights, which they took a minute to grow on me, but now that I've seen them like multiple times now, I really like the taillights on the NSX. You've got all the venting down here. Always love the exhaust tips, like they look crazy. And then you've got another carbon fiber Acura logo. But yeah, that's everything for the back end. Carbon fiber roof. I mean, what more could you ask for in life? But that interior. Now, other than the exhaust and the tune and everything, it's all the fun stuff. Kyle's also swapped out the NSX to have the red interior, which I think's completely transformed the car. So you still get all the black leather up here in the Alcantara, but now the leather down here and like the door panel and everything is all red leather, which I think just completely, again, transforms the car, makes it look so much nicer. And then coming to the seats, these seats are so beautiful. So you've got the red leather with the black Alcantara and the red stitching down the center. Like, I think these are my favorite seats that you can get in a car. I think they just look fantastic. And again, completely transforms the character of the car, because now that you have all this leather everywhere that's in red versus in the black, this interior now like just completely pops, and like with the rest of the theme of the car, I think it just really works. With the interior, I just want to mention all the touch points and everything that I really like with the interior. So first off, I really like the outside of the steering wheel. So you've got the carbon fiber there at the top, and then a little bit of carbon fiber down here below, and it kind of like weaves all throughout. And then the nice leather, I just love the feel of it. And the grips on the steering wheel, like right here, that's pretty much where I'd always grab on the steering wheel. You've got really good access to the paddles right there, and the grip place for your fingers is just like perfect. It's like a nice hug on your fingers, basically. But yeah, love the steering wheel on the NSX, and and notice it has like all your normal practical stuff as well. Now the gauge cluster with the NSX is really neat. It kind of has this like cool futuristic look to it, but the cool party trick has to do with the drive modes. You've got a few different drive modes you can pop into. So right now we're in the quiet mode, and notice if we try to shift to the left, there's no drive mode past the quiet mode, so then it will just beep at you. But then you've got the Sport, you've got the Sport Plus, and then you do have to hold for just a little bit to pop it over into the track mode. Now the track mode is where you can actually do the launch control with the NSX, which I've been told it's crazy, and we may or may not be testing that in today's video. But yeah, I just love how it like changes like the gauge cluster setup depending on what mode you're in. And it looks like Kyle drives it in the sport mode all the time, which good man, Kyle, good man. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time here, but you just have the infotainment system with the NSX, which is pulled straight out of Honda and Acura. So it's a really good, reliable, easy to use infotainment system. Climate controls down below. You've got the really cool drive mode select, which I just love the dial and how you just like shift it to go the different drive modes. And then you actually have your heated seat controls on either side. And then you've got your gear selector here, which again, I understand that this isn't a bunch of Hondas and Acuras. It's still like really well put together, and it's still just like, I don't know, it feels like I'm doing something special when I'm selecting the different gears. And then you've got your parking brake, your brake hold, all that kind of stuff in this part. But the one thing I want to mention again is the red leather. Again, it just transforms this whole like middle section here, just breaks things up so it's like not all black and depressing like it was before. The other thing I want to mention about the interior, I love the carbon fiber here at the top, and then notice that you've got leather covering pretty much every single surface. I think it just looks really nice. And you've got like the lines bringing everything together. Again, from a design standpoint, I think it all looks really nice. And I did forget to mention the mirrors. The mirrors on the NSX, another like piece of design on the car that I think is just, they've nailed it on that. Now, I do want to mention the headliner. Again, remember, it does have a carbon fiber roof, but you also get an Alcantara headliner, which I think like every performance car should have this because it just makes the car feel that much cooler. And, well, the NSX has it, and that's part of the reason why the NSX is so cool. Now that we're done going over the interior on the NSX, let's quickly talk about the pricing with the NSXs. So, in terms of the pricing on new NSXs, I think the base price is pretty close to $160,000, but as soon as you add options, like this one's a pretty fully loaded NSX. I don't think there's any other option that you could add into this car at this point. So this brand new would have been over $200,000, which the new ones, they're still over $200,000 for a fully loaded one. But the cool thing about this car is once it's used, it depreciates down to about $120,000 to $130,000, and they've been at that price for several years now. So this is one of those supercars that you could buy, put a bunch of miles on it, and you could sell it for about the same amount of money that you paid for it, which, I mean, that's just crazy. But let's take her out and see how she drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off here in the NSX. And first off, visibility out the front is absolutely fantastic. Like the windshield's really big and the front end's not long because again, it's a mid-engine car. And so it's just really easy to see things out of the front. And then these mirrors, not only are they beautiful, they're really practical. The visibility out of them is actually really good. And then for being a mid-engine car through the back, visibility is great. And I love how you can like see into the engine bay through this back window. It just looks so cool. But let's get to the part that I have been waiting a long time for, and let's set off. Now we are starting off in the NSX, and I'm actually going to do quite a bit of driving here in the full EV mode. I had some people request that from my last NSX review because I only drove it like around the corner in the EV mode. So I'm going to try to drive it a little bit more. So we're over in the quiet mode right here. So you guys can see just how daily drivable this is and how practical it is. The one thing that I will mention, and the only reason I'm mentioning this is because I just drove a Lexus LC500 yesterday, and driving that back to back with this actually gave me a pretty good grasp on the suspension with this car. So this car obviously handles so much better than the LC500. Like everything on this car is better than the LC500, other than the fact that that V8 sounds pretty good. The reason I'm mentioning that car is that is like the pinnacle of luxury cars that are you know, under $100,000. This is just over $100,000. Notice the engine just popped on, now it's charging the battery. But this ride's rougher than the LC500, and so it kind of like getting that perception kind of like really helps me kind of see where this car actually sits from a ride quality standpoint. And the engine just popped back off. So what the engine will do is it'll periodically pop on like that, charge the battery a little bit, and then once the battery has some charge, and it shows you in the center screen how much charge it has. You guys saw that with the gauge cluster. And then once the battery's charged up sufficiently, then the engine will shut back off like it just did. So that's kind of what your driving is going to be like in the quiet mode. Is it's going to be periodically engine off, engine on, to charge the battery, which, I mean, it's not obnoxious. I mean, it is a loud car, but that's just kind of how it is with the NSX. So you can see the battery's on right here, and we'll get a good amount of charge right here because it's up and accelerating. The thing I noticed with this car is, so I'm in automatic mode. It seems like it shifts at relatively high RPMs, even when you're just in the automatic mode. It's not like the throttle's like too touchy or anything. It's very easy to drive. It's just something that I've noticed with the NSX and kind of the throttle response and all that. But yeah, I think that's a I don't know about you guys, but I think that's enough time in the quiet mode. We're gonna pop it over into the sport mode now. I'm still gonna keep it in the automatic mode. Now this is the mode that people are mostly gonna drive the NSX in. This is gonna be not the craziest throttle response, not the craziest driving and all that, and it'll still actually go into fully electric mode when you're in the sport mode. So this is kind of like a nice in-between mode where you can still get decent throttle response, but you can also still get that kind of like EV driving. One thing I mentioned, the brakes are really close together. Like, I don't have very big feet. I think I'm like a size, I haven't gotten shoes in a while. I'm like a size 11, and my feet are like, I'm kind of like struggling with the pedals a little bit. So I can't imagine Kyle, because I'm pretty sure he's like a size 12 or 13. I'm not sure how he works this little pedal box. It's kind of crazy. But you guys can probably hear the car turning on and off here with the sport mode. As soon as I let off the throttle, turns off. As soon as I get on the throttle, turns back on. It's very seamless. The system's very seamless. Like, this is some high-tech stuff, folks. Yeah, the car handles so beautifully. Like, you barely have to turn the steering wheel. It's crazy. I'm surprised, just with driving this kind of in normal conditions, you really don't have to turn the steering wheel whatsoever. But I'll be back with you guys in a second because we got a light here. We're popping it over into the Sport Plus mode for the next little thing, and we're over in the manual mode as well. So as you can see, we are in the Sport Plus mode and in the manual mode. The gear shifts are so quick. I love the turbo noise too. Okay, I was not ready for that. I'm gonna have to, oh my God. I'm gonna have to drive this around for a second and get used to that. I was absolutely like not prepared for that whatsoever. That is ridiculously fast. And you guys gotta remember, I drive a 700 horsepower TRX, and I was not prepared for that. Oh my God! Wow. Wow. That is, I'm speechless. It sounds so good too. So fast. Oh my God, my heart is like absolutely racing. Whew. Looks like there might be a crash up here, so we're just gonna kind of go back into the, we're gonna go into quiet mode, okay? We're gonna go into quiet mode. We're gonna just kind of like nonchalantly drive by. Oh my gosh, my heart is just, oh, there's no one there. They're just stopped on the side of the road. Okay. This car is terrifying. Oh my, it's terrifying in a good way. Like, it's so fast. I have never driven anything this fast in my entire life. Let's actually put it over into track mode. Oh my goodness. That is just, I don't even have any words at this point. So we're gonna get back up onto the interstate in a second here. We're in the manual mode. By the way, if you guys are wondering, I would be lying if I didn't tell you guys, like, I'm a little bit nervous. This car it's fast. This is stupid fast. Like, there's fast, and then there is... Oh my God. Wow. That is just... And the turbo noise, like, all the noises this car makes. I have never enjoyed a car more than this before in my entire life. This thing is the best. This is so fun. Oh my God. Like, I drove it around the corner last time I drove this, but actually getting it up and like going full throttle in manual mode, the NSX is crazy. There is nothing, I don't have anything to compare this to. Like, speed-wise, there's just nothing. This thing is so insane. And 700 horsepower and 98 octane. It doesn't need it. Like, when I drove his car, the first time I drove it, I feel like that was more than fast enough. And now this is just on a whole, this is stupid. Like, this is just crazy. I don't know what else to say, guys. Like, I mean, I don't have anything bad to say about this car. It looks fantastic. It's crazy fast. It sounds amazing. The interior is great. Like, I know some people back in the interior and talk about like how it's got a lot of Acura stuff in it. I like that, because when something breaks with this car, it's gonna be cheap to replace. Versus if this had a bunch of specialty stuff in it, then it'd be expensive. Like, I like the fact that this has a bunch of Acura stuff in it. And I just, this car's amazing. Like, out of all the cars I've ever reviewed, this is my favorite. I keep forgetting you cannot, so that you can't go into, if you guys are wondering, you can't go into first gear until you're pretty much fully stopped because of the hybrid system. And so it'll instantly like shift out of first. First is just for launching the car. Yeah, this thing, it's great. So like, if you've got the money, this is such a good value. It's not gonna lose its value, and it's just so much fun. Now that is gonna sum things up for our video on this modified Acura NSX. And again, a huge shout out and thank you to Kyle for giving me some time with his car. Go follow him on Instagram. And I mean, seriously, if you aren't following someone on Instagram that owns an NSX like this, there's probably something wrong with you. But yeah, seriously, go follow him, and I'll see you guys in the next video.